What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how I get an 80+% response rate on cold outreach whenever I send a batch from cold outreach. And this is one of the most important things you can learn if you are trying to sign clients as a copywriter, or if you are just trying to grow your business in general, is how to actually get people interested in what you have to sell. And also, if you are selling some sort of info product, this will also be very applicable to you because messaging to your audience also plays a major role in you scaling your company. I've done near $10 million in info product sales. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I can tell you firsthand, one of the most important things is your messaging. So I want to break down how I basically get over half, at least 50% to 80% response rate on cold outreach. And it all comes down to one basic principle. And the analogy that I'm going to give you here is the blue sheep in the field. So if you've never heard this analogy, it's a very simple way to think about things, but I think it applies to cold outreach more than anything. So long story short, I want you to imagine a giant field with a fence around it and a bunch of sheep. Just put as many sheep in this little area of your fence as you physically can. And every single sheep is obviously white because that is the color of a sheep. And now I want you to imagine that there is one blue sheep in that mix. One sheep is dyed blue. Now, I want you now to basically think about, if I walk up to you and I said, okay, pick a sheep from that field, you are statistically going to pick the blue sheep because it is the only sheep that stands out. So I want you to think about how this applies to outreach. And you probably think like it's just a field of sheep. Like what are you talking about? Sip of coffee here for you, because this applies to outreach more than anything. Because if you are sending the same DMs and you are looking like everybody else, you are a white sheep. But if you are doing things differently and you are applying creativity, you are a blue sheep. And the blue sheeps will always win. What I mean by this is everyone gets a lot of outreach. So if your DM starts with the same thing, like, hey, first name, it's going to look like everybody else's DM. Now, I obviously can't sit on here and like teach you how to fix this. I obviously can't sit on here and be like, oh, this is the one way to, implement this and fix it. I can't do that because creativity comes down to you, and what works for one person will not work for another person. However, what I can tell you to do is just a list of things that make you blend in. So the first one is, hey, name. Like, hey, John, saw this. Everybody's DM looks like this, and you literally blend in so much by doing this because it's just hey name, hey name, hey name in somebody's DM inbox. You need to imagine what your prospects are looking at on their phone when you are sending cold outreach. This is like the most important one. Like, yo, name, anything that starts with their name. If you want to put their name in the DM, put it halfway through the DM or put it at the end where they can't see it when it's in the request tab. Because your only job with your first outreach message should be to get an open. And the second thing you can do is just use a curiosity-based opener, right? So let's say, for example, if we take somebody who you want to pitch email marketing to, or let's say you see someone who needs help with their email marketing. You go, hey, John, I saw you need help with email marketing. I'm a copywriter and I, can help you get 30% more. Like, it's what everyone says. It sounds ridiculous. So what can you do instead? You can literally just send a simple one-line message of curiosity saying, notice one small tweak you could make to your emails that would easily increase revenue. You want me to show it to you real quick. So simple, one line, builds curiosity. They're like, oh, okay. And now what you do is you play on the fact that people have egos. This is the other most important concept of cold outreach. Play on the fact that people have massive egos. Nobody wants to feel like something is wrong with their business. I can tell you that right now. Nobody wants to feel like something's wrong. So play on that fact and say, hey, if there's a small tweak you can make, you want me to just show you? And they're gonna be like, yeah, sure. You can either get them on a call, you can send them a Loom video, and now they're going to want to hire you to do more stuff and fix more problems down the line. And if you're good at sales, which this video is not about sales, so I'm basically implying that you know how to build pain and build problems in sales. You can take this, book a ton of meetings, and naturally you're just gonna close clients because you are solving people's problems. You're not in somebody's DMs talking about how you're an email marketer who can increase their revenue by 20%. You're going, hey, there's this small thing. I think you could personally fix it. I think it would really help you, and let me do it for you. I can fix it. And then they're gonna be like, wow, this is like really valuable. One more sip of coffee here. It's 7:30 in the morning when I'm recording this. And I'm doing this as super authentic, because I want you guys to get as much value out of these videos. And I'm also not gonna hyper edit them and make, some crazy stimulating thing. I want you guys to generally sit down, resonate with these kind of videos and get something from them. That is my literal only goal with this channel, is like give you guys value. And I can tell you, I mean, I've sent 4,000+ cold DMs. I've easily sent like over 4,000 DMs. The DMs that always get open are never, hey name, blah, blah, blah. And I will go as far as saying, for this video, tested 150 cold DMs that said, hey name, blah, 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 blah. This is what I can do for you. This is a Loom video explaining how to do it, blah, 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 blah. You guys know how many opens I got? 0. I got 0 opens out of 150 DMs. That is how bad the hey name opener is. And if you can simply switch this to something of curiosity, something that just start a random sentence, literally start your sentence in your pitch. Anything, like, it doesn't matter what you say. You can say like, reaching out because I saw this. Like, that's an example. That stands out. That's not, hey John. Or had an idea for your content in this regard. That's not a hey name. It's simply saying something different that makes you, if you're a sheep, makes you turn blue. Makes you become the sheep that stands out in the field. And that is how you are going to succeed with outreach. I made a video recently. It was a 1-hour free outreach masterclass, which you should totally go watch, by the way. I think it's an absolute banger. I think there's so much value in there. And I genuinely will stand on my hill with this opinion. I think it is the most valuable outreach video you can watch on YouTube. So go check that out. It's on my channel. I'm not selling you anything in this video, but it is genuinely it's genuinely a free class. Go watch it. It will change your outreach game forever. But you need to understand the concept of standing out. And remember that if you are sitting there going, well, what's the best way to stand out? If you are looking on the internet for the best way to stand out, you are already in a losing game because you can't Google creativity and how to stand out from the crowd, because if it's on Google, you're not standing out from the crowd. So take some time today. I always recommend this. Genuinely sit down, get a notebook out, with a pen. I'm not saying like pull your notes out. I want you to write this down and sit there and go, okay, I'm gonna write down every single thing that I think is a common trait of outreach. Okay, paragraph long DMs, hey name opener, pitching the call in the first thing. Maybe it's a giant paragraph text, whatever it might be. Write down every single commonality you see with a lot of outreach messages. What makes outreach similar across different messages? And then draw an arrow on each one and write the exact opposite. That is the exact place to start. And you'll see how you can be creative and stand out by doing that. And that is how you get 80% plus open rates in outreach jams, is learning how to stand out from the crowd. And if you want more videos like this, just drop me a comment on this video. Let me know if you like this style. It's a bit more like raw, authentic talking. I'm not gonna hyper edit this or anything like that. Drop me subscribe if you like this. I post content on here every single week regarding how to sign clients, how to scale info products, etc., because that is what I do. And I will leave my socials down in the description too. And I will see you guys in the next video.